Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II, World at War with our Allied playthrough. In the last episode, we blazed through the UK, America, and the Soviet Union. There's a couple things I forgot. One notable thing is this Sudanese corps that has to be heading north. I'll just upgrade him with anti-air for the time being. But other than that, we're pretty much ready to bring this over into March of 1943, and hopefully all this goddamn snow will go away. Bulgaria has surrendered. UK plunders 49 MPPs. The Bulgarian units have vanished. Nice. That helps clear up some stuff. They were just garrisons, but still nice. And then we get their MPPs too. Very small amount, but nice. Sweden moves a lot closer to the Allies. They shouldn't even be Axis leaning at this point. USA UK convoys disrupted. Australia UK convoys. Yeah, it's really hard to control it. Germany has sent their whole navy out at this point. And we're just now getting the upgrades we need to do better ASW. The German subs are so upgraded, and our ASW just isn't. Because I've had to focus on so many different things, and I guess the AI probably hasn't been focusing on some things that I have. A lot of tech finishing, a lot of indie tech, long-range aircraft. Oh, there's still snow, though. A lot of the snow's going away for mud, but there is still snow. But this is just the Axis' turn we're going into. Let's see. It's all looking good to me. Yeah. Hopefully by our turn it gets better. Because the weather is different per whose turn it is. Because it's like back and forth. Let's see. Axis stepping into part of Bulgaria to reclaim it with the HQ. Yeah, they'll have to kind of worry about that now, huh? Some sort of truck-based movement happening around here. Remember that HQ being over there, maybe? I'm not sure. Reinforcements wherever they can get them. Logical. Not much offensive action yet. Italian subs heading towards the Suez. Still strategic bombing over in Miri. I could probably give that better AA defenses. That's all they're going to be bombing at this rate. Oh my god, they're bombing Singapore now. They took some damage that time. Did I upgrade Singapore's anti-air defense? Because that was on the city itself. Right, Singapore and just over there in general, I might want to start looking at things. Some kind of escorts are flying. I can't see them, but the targets are up north, and we have fighters defending. Don't know what the targets are, but... Oh yeah, and that poor light tank is so dead. Their bombers are just failing to get that artillery. Ooh! That poor cav just took 5 damage. But it dealt 3, and it's just a cav, so that works. Yep, that tank died. Fucking, like, level 3 Panzer just one-shot it. Not surprised. These armies are scrambling. They're about to be out of supplies completely, so they'll die nice and quick as well. HQ moving up near Sendai has me wondering, is there anything on Sendai? Because I will have long-range transports ready here soon. If I could get behind them with an army, that'd be great. Yep, attrition losses. German national morale suffers at the loss of Bulgaria. Hell yeah. I still wonder if Japan's national morale is going to suffer at the loss of Germany. I'm really curious about that. Ooh, it's getting green. Oh, if it gets green, you know what that means. I can do a lot. So we did lose that first tanks. Sad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Spotting some units. A sub right there. Oh my god. Look at all these subs. Oy vey. Yo, oh, okay. We can see they do have cores in Sendai. Alright. Oh my god. How jammed packed is this shit? What is this? Following the evacuation of Polish soldiers from the USSR last year, I remember this. General Anders has been restoring these men to health, fitness, and military efficiency so as to form them into an effective fighting organization. With their training in Iraq nearing completion, these men are ready to be formed to a new and significant fighting formation. If you agree, we will form these Polish forces in the Middle East into the Polish 2nd Corps. This corps will then deploy in Kuwait at strength 8, with 0.5 experience and fully upgraded for a cost of 75 MPPs, spread over 3 turns. Would you like to create this? Saying yes will increase our strength and make use of Polish soldiers who were evacuated and are now ready for active service again. I intentionally sent them there instead of the USSR, because I figured the UK could use the troops more. So sure, give me that. Now, they might not be needed, but I mean, I'll take it. Medium bombers, Russian HQ, nice. Chinese HQ and an army, no, okay. Let's go deal with the Soviets first, as they probably have the craziest pile of shit to deal with. First and foremost, we do have another HQ, which I will deploy as far northwest as I can get it, as I want to get that near the assault on Berlin, as that's where it's going to be primarily needed. Unfortunately, with the death of that light tank, we have failed to continue to cut off their rail line leading to Berlin. So that is sad. However, with the snow gone, our offensive may renew in force. Now, we have nothing to directly stand up to this tank, unfortunately, nor do we even have great ability to bomb. In fact, every time I do bomb, it looks like we're just absolutely going to get our asses beat every single time. And one issue is that oh my god, the Brits are capable of intercepting in Berlin. Well, that's an interesting way to use the Brits. Regardless of actual success, the USSR is swimming in money, thanks to America and thanks to its upgrading industry and all the crap it's taking over. So I put these two fighters on intercept so that they would not take part in these bombings, because I don't want them to. We're going to take the medium bombers and we're going to send them in, regardless of projected losses. And I'll explain why as we do it. So we're going to go ahead and bomb. Interceptors flying, escorts flying. The British escorts are better, but it's fine. The USSR has money. I don't care. Really hurting the enemy fighters. And as you see, we have lowered the entrenchment. Not just that, but medium bombers also have demoralization effects. The TAC bombers do not have de-entrenchment effects, but they do have demoralization effects. So let's go ahead and run a tactical bombing sweep now. Now we have different fighters coming in to intercept us. Dealt 1 damage. Lost 3. Whew. Dealt another 1 to their fighters. Took some damage on the TAC bombers. But I can definitely see, you see their morale's now gray. The repeated bombings does have an effect. Even if it's not direct losses, it has an effect. So I'm going to go ahead and run another one with these injured fighters. But it's fine. The Soviets have a lot of money. Don't worry about it. 2 damage to their fighters. 3 damage to our fighters. 1 damage to our attack bombers. Another 1 damage to their fighters. And we actually dealt damage to the dude on Berlin now. Now their morale's down to 32% and readiness is almost starting to have problems as well. So this is having a notable effect on the core that's defending here. Unfortunately, there is another core, but if we can successfully get that surrounded, then this just won't matter. Might as well look at a lot more of the air things I can do in this region for right now. We'll take the Strat bombers and we'll run them over Saint Nazaire again. Bombing, deal 2 damage. Take 1 damage, oof. They lose an MPP and some supply. Let's hit it again. They're down to 4 supply. And now they'll be down to 2 supply. Nice. Alright, so they'll down to 2 supply on this 1 MPP. Supply at Nantes is at 1. Yeah, it just keeps going down because having 3 units next to it has that effect. We don't quite have that effect on Berlin or anything right now, but we're getting there. If we go look over by Warsaw, we will see that the 13th Army can do pretty decent damage to this core. So we will attack, dealing 4 damage. Taking none, even better than predicted. Let's see here. We can take this injured army or this core. I guess I'll take a core. Do a prepared attack on Warsaw. Deal 1 damage. Take no damage. Alright, let's use the injured army now. 16th Army has finished off the enemies at Warsaw. Very good. We'll take the Moscow Corps and march them in to take Warsaw. What an interesting thing. We'll take this Rifle Corps and go ahead and attack this enemy garrison with it, wiping it off the face of the planet. We cannot reinforce this core, sadly. The supply just has not caught up here. So what will we do with it? Let's see. Well, we can march this core forward to go take a look at what's ahead. I want to get this HQ moving forward. It's going to have to go to Warsaw, if anything. Supply is improving down here, so I will go move this core down south so we can move the Moscow Corps up. We'll move the HQ forward so it can better spread its supply. Reinforce the anti-tank that's up here on the front. We can move the anti-air forward, and that should work out pretty well. I think all of our fighters are pretty much going to start being needed over here instead of where they are. How's the supply over here anyway? It looks better than it is. It's not showing the penalties quite as much. I don't know why. We have the ability to move these fighters over at least. Yes, I can. Don't know how far, but I guess this works. We just want to have them over here in general. Down south, I will move the Zhukov HQ over to Brasov. I will upgrade the first guard heavy tank with their advanced tanks level 2. Definitely want to get that moving. Aw, no model change. That's sad. Definitely want to get tanks upgraded if we can. We have a lot of dudes still back here that just haven't caught up with a push. The maritime bombers here are running out of supply. We'll take the Sevastopol Corps, go ahead and attack them with it. 4 damage dealt. They didn't manage to escape, which is nice. Now we'll use this corps, another 4 damage dealt, and now it's dead. Fantastic. We'll definitely want to move this HQ up with the group. Wow looks like a good place to put it. We'll go move this corps forward towards the enemy HQ that's cut off here. The von Rudenstedt HQ. We'll send the HQ forward of our own. Let's see, you've done your strike. You've done your strike. I guess you move forward to Krakow. You can move through the town and take it. Let's see, you've used your strike as well. Not sure really what to do with you, but we'll go ahead and do a prepared attack with the Vladivostok Corps against the enemy HQ. 3 damage dealt. 1 received. Now with this corps, 4 damage dealt, none received. Germany's national morale, by the way, down to 84% and dropping, which is really nice. Italy's down to 41%, Japan down to 35%. I really don't know how we're going to deal with Japan on time. Like, everything else, I feel, is just bound to fall. And the problem is just that they have this island so packed with units. Look at this. This is way more than I ever expected to be here. And due to these docks, assaulting Tokyo from the sea is just not a simple feat. And the American carrier group is, like, odd. So there's going to be some problems with that. At the very least, it's not going to be hard. It just might be time-consuming, is what it could be. However, we have other things to look at here, such as this poor Mongolian cavalry corps was just getting its ass beat. I'll go ahead and do an attack on the enemy Italian army with it, dealing 1 damage, taking 1. Alright, that's about the trade that I was willing to make anyway. We can go ahead and then run that away to safety, not having to worry as much anymore. Let's see. Oh, still no good chance against the HQ, the Hungarian HQ defending Budapest, huh? Alright. Well, at least this guy's almost dead. Take the Sevastopol Corps, send it northwest, same thing with the Vladivostok Corps, and just start sending other things up from the rear. The 5th Corps can go finish off the enemy at Prasov, taking 1 damage. Great. Not very far that we can get with these mechanized units, but I'll send them up. Securing Prasov and a large part of Slovakia, the capital of Slovakia being all that's really left. Let's see, what to do with you. I'd like to put you right down here. What's supply like in this region? Of course, not good. Of course, not good. This army's not very entrenched, to be fair. It's really not as entrenched as one might think. I can move up, but we're kind of using these mountains to form a defense against this large enemy force stuck in Romania. I think I'll just, oh, I can't even reinforce this corps, but I can upgrade it. Infantry weapons level 2. Oh, it's been dying for that, hasn't it? We'll move the 21st Army southwest to kind of form a line here. We're not trying to start any fights here, but we are trying to, like, hold our ground a little bit. Let's see. More light tanks. More light tanks. However, we can't get very far due to this corps being in the way. Supply should start catching up here, but it's not going to be the greatest. We'll move the light tanks, let's just say across the river here. And then we'll move this mechanized across the river as well. We can see Vienna is pretty much completely open. They're not really defending Austria at all. This corps can move further, this corps can move further. You cannot reach Lodz. I'll send you southwest. The corps here at Lublin can move past this army. This army could use some reinforcements, so let's move this corps forward. This army can move forward as well. We'll send that westwards. We don't need to really stay here. All these Germans are now just completely out of supply and attriting away. We'll attack with this rifle corps, wiping out that enemy unit, taking no damage. Now let's see about finishing this one off. Let's move this rifle corps up, deal 3 damage, and chase it further into the marsh. Okay. Let's see about this then. Not really good enough to wipe it out, these units. but we can fully surround it in this pocket. It shouldn't really be able to react at all. We'll move the engineers out of the way. This rifle corps can continue heading west, as well as the 1st Red Banner Army. We're just unstoppable. We're an unstoppable wave. It's wonderful. We have more mechanized that can move forward. Ah, yes. I recall I was going to use this. I guess we'll just send them over here into this mountain pass for the time being. This corps can head around southwest as well. This fighter. Ideally, we send it west, right? Ideally. The supply there, not the greatest. Supply right here, not the greatest. Ideally, this goes west. These mountains are supposedly going to have good supply. We'll just send it about that far. The red fighters here can move up as well as we spread things out. I think I'll send these red fighters right about here. Let's see, 43rd Army heading northwest, 26th Army heading northwest, this Rifle Corps heading more directly west, maybe a little southwest, this anti-air keeping up with its HQ that it's been escorting. I'm going to take this mechanized and blitz it around to secure Cologne, a secondary supply location that could come pretty in handy for us theoretically. I could probably just barrel my way west as well, but I don't think the Soviets need to worry about that. They don't need to go any further west, they just need to encircle the Berlin area. So let's move south. We can get an attack off on this, but I think, let's see, I have other options. I'll move this corps down and then attack the enemy von Lieb HQ, dealing 6 damage with this corps and taking no damage. I mean, that's a pretty good result if you look at the numbers. I do wonder if this paratrooper can be convinced to step off of Hamburg to go somewhere else. I do wonder. We have a corps here that will continue further west. Might stop it from doing such a thing. Not that that's good or bad. We definitely want to get enough units around to surround Berlin, no matter what the situation here is. We're going to keep this corps on Dresden, whose supply is looking pretty good. This army is just going to head southwest. This special forces is going to head southwest. And you can't really operate much further, right? Well, now you can operate even further. Okay. Well, this will be a good place to prepare, so I will operate you right over here. That sounds like a good plan to me. Then we have the tanks. I'll send these tanks right outside of Berlin for the time being. Let's see what else we have. A corps, an army. I'll take the army and I'll put that next to Berlin. Definitely armies. We want to prioritize getting into positions like this. This corps is probably going to stay on the fortification so that the Germans here have nowhere to run. This army will move southwest. This corps will get outside Berlin as well. Now it's so surrounded, Berlin should start losing supply at a rate of like 1 a turn. Unfortunately, it is at 12, so this could be a very lengthy process. As we get more and more troops around here, and as eventually our artillery will start finishing, this is pretty much guaranteed done. Italy, we won't have to worry about. The Americans are coming to land in Sicily. Our push through Yugoslavia is going well. Our push in France is slow, but not going poorly, I'll tell you that much. Guess I'll go ahead and use the first tanks on the enemy Romanian fighters at Dusseldorf. No damage, but weaken their readiness and morale entrenchment enough to go ahead and use my second strike, dealing 2 damage. Now I can use the mechanized, deal 1 damage. Again, no damage, but I think generally going pretty well. I'm glad it's the shock heavy tanks that are outside Berlin. They could still swap things out, but the longer they wait, the more we're going to be able to just fully encircle them with the way things are going. And we'll have more troops heading over there. We can now operate troops over there is a pretty important thing to note. But even our just push westwards is enough. It's preparing them to surrender from the moment we take Berlin. And given that it's still only 1943, this progress is just astounding. I'm very happy with it. We are pretty much on one side of the river, except for in Dresden, where we're sitting on a town. This could be cut off, but I'm not too worried. It's at full strength otherwise, and they don't have enough land forces to really keep up enough to actually do something like that. Looking at what we have available here, I'm very tempted to take this army and then go stomp these Italians. Yeah, we could set something like that up. Alright, let's do that. 7th Army attack, deal 2 damage. Take 2 damage, so we kind of lost that die roll, unfortunately. We could then move this army further southwest and attack with it. 3 damage dealt. 1 received, that's the die roll we were promised. And then the mechanized can finish those Italians off, receiving 1 damage as we were kind of promised. I can take this core and then secure this city with it, pushing our border up through Romania, not into Yugoslavia. This is as far southwest as we'll go. We're just going to progress into Hungary in the meantime. Let those Brits do their jobs, knowing that supplies up on this front are going to be so terrible that actually getting resupplied is not going to be easy. I'll go ahead and move the first Red fighters back towards Danzig, and hopefully this HQ ends up being in reach enough to actually supply them and allow them to repair. But even then, like, we have way too many units per hour amounts of HQs, which again is something we can end up looking into. We have more, especially more that are rank 7, which is definitely going to be useful. Research has finished. Wait, no, it hasn't. Okay, it has. Enough that we can go ahead and get some research funding. I know we got long-range fighters. So what we can do is go get some ground attack weapons, because that would sure fucking help, wouldn't it? As the USSR. And then that's all the research that we can fit in for the time being. I believe we've moved and used every unit that's really important to use and move and attack with and all that jazz. 674 MPPs. I think I will go ahead and make another HQ. I'll just pick the next level 7. We can make another 4. We'll go ahead and purchase another HQ. That is very expensive. 284 MPPs paid for that HQ. We can afford another rocket artillery, the final one we can get. This could be, again, very handy at breaking Berlin. Probably, honestly, better than my planes at the moment, even with no upgrades. So definitely want to get these coming along. They could be very, very handy for everything that we're doing. Let's finish up our collection of rocket artillery, which leaves us with 94 MPPs and nothing to really spend it on. So that's done with the USSR. Let's go look at India and Spain. India has it real nice. They can start shelling, and they can keep shelling, and they can keep shelling, damaging and lowering the readiness and morale of the defenders quite a bit, so that the BAI army can wipe them out. And wham, bam, shalam, motherfucker. We're ready to step on Madrid. Let's see, the paratroopers, well, who can get farther, does it really matter? Not really. We'll take this core. Alright, first, step on the city. Alright, done. Madrid is ours. Start heading north. This is free. Alright, go take Zaragoza. We're going to have trouble advancing too far beyond this due to the partisans. We don't have any garrisons over here with which to use. Again, still really unsure how I'm going to handle garrisons. Cores could do it. We'd have to buy the cores. UK garrisons could be made for this purpose. If so, I'll handle that when I look at the UK. But we can also move the artillery up. We'll be able to move up further. If Spain surrenders, all their units should just go with them. The Gurkhas can actually just keep moving up towards Barcelona, and that's going to be fine. The Indians are about to arrive with such a massive force that it's going to have more than the Brits and Canadians have here, like, combined. The tanks can move north. We do see some Spaniards up here. We won't get next to them for the time being. We don't want to provoke them or anything. The paratroopers will proceed as they can. Ooh, how do you look? A garrison up there. We'll just maintain our position right here then. We can have our planes start moving up. Do they need to move up? No. But we can have them moving up. The HQ was smart enough to put them in supply. The HQ is good enough to keep a lot of these units in supply. I guess we'll send the TAC bombers here and the fighters here. This HQ could do with some mobility upgrades as well as its anti-air defense, which is going to use most of India's MPPs for the time being, which doesn't leave me too much that I can do with India. We won't be able to afford any research nor units, but again, I know I over-invested into units at the start of the game. It's a shame, but thankfully, I believe when we hit end turn, they will have successfully taken Spain out of the war. Let's look at a couple UK things. So I was saying I was going to upgrade Sarawak with some better AA. They keep going for it, so yeah, let's go for it. What about this Singapore capital? It does have AA, but they're going for it, so let's give it some better anti-air as well. Wherever they aim for, I'm just going to start pouring that kind of stuff into. And also for the UK, I guess we can look at what's going on down here. We've already used our strat bombers. Ideally, I know they're going to pull out fighters, but ideally, we go ahead and start bombing this enemy group here. This is what we're going to probably want to push through. So let's run some TAC bombing. Of course, we pull in the enemy interceptors, but we have our escorts. 1 damage to their fighters, 1 damage to my fighter, 1 damage to my attack bomber, 1 more damage to their fighter. No damage to this group, yet its readiness and morale has been notably shrunk. We were only able to do 1 damage with this army last I checked. Now we can do 2. And same with the special forces. That's really, really nice. Sadly, we only have the 1 strike we can do. We'll go ahead and attack with the army. 2 damage dealt, 1 received. That's kind of a lost die roll. Let's use the special forces. 3 damage dealt, none received. That's the kind of shit we're looking for. We can attack with the core as well. Nothing dealt, nothing received. Not really what I'm looking for, but what's supply like over here? It's decent. Could be better, but it's decent. We can send this mechanized forward and have it attack. We can send... oh, shit. Send the second core forward around and have it attack. 1 damage dealt, 2 damage dealt. Oh, okay, better than expected. Nice, nice. The Canadians are just kind of holding this line right now. But I could swap this core in to have it attack, so I think I will. No damage dealt or received, sadly, so now it's up to the mechanized. 2 damage dealt, none received. Second attack, and Kane is ours. We're gonna march right through here with the BAI army, and then move that bitch, like, right up to Paris, pretty much. We can also move the special forces forward a little bit, up to the river. That could potentially be worth something. BAI army moving up along the river towards Paris. If we take Paris, Italy will lose quite a bit of stuff. It's a national morale objective, even for them. And so long as we have it, and we clear out enemy units from within 4 hexes, eventually Vichy might just join us, and then if we could go right through Vichy into Italy from the west, well, that would be fantastic, because otherwise, I don't know how these troops are actually going to get into Italy from this direction. They're not. I kind of thought, like, oh yeah, we'll just plow right through, but Switzerland's in the way, Vichy's in the way, but if we can clear out France, Vichy will join us in time, and America's troops are going down here anyway. Should be fine. We could always sail things to go assist the Americans. Maybe the Canadians would be good, or the South Africans, actually. Probably would be pretty good for that. I will take the Alexander HQ and move it forward to Caen. I believe we can upgrade the HQ at St. Malo now. Let's go ahead and upgrade the Creator HQ with mobility and AA defense. It can upgrade pretty far. It's very, very expensive, but could come in handy, that's for sure. I also definitely want to make sure to remember to get the first core here from Sudan. And we're going to want to send that up. We got to be actually really, really fucking careful how we do this, because we know they had stuff coming through here. All of that stuff went around this way, so theoretically this path should be clear. Let's hope. Oh, thank God it was. Alright, so we got the Sudanese core through. It can go join its friends over in Greece. The South Africans, yeah, they may just be better going with America to land in Sicily and stuff and help them push, because America won't have too many men here. The South Africans can definitely help with that, which means they're going to end up needing long-range transports. However, having taken care of the USSR, the Indians, the French front, pretty much primarily, all the air stuff we're going to do in this region, I'm going to call that a good stopping point for this episode. Again, these turns are like getting faster, it feels like. Finally picking up the pace again. We have a bit more to go through, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get through all of it in the next turn. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.